Hello everybody, I am Marietta and I welcome you to Marietta's Art Channel. Today I am really excited to try out alcohol inks on epoxy resin. I'm going to be using these little plates and hopefully making amazing art in four different ways as far as the epoxy resin and the alcohol inks. I have never done this before, so let's go and do this experiment. So the first thing that I need to do is mix some of the epoxy resin. I am going to be using Stone Coat Countertop again. The reason for that is it's very viscous and I like that idea because the alcohol ink interacts with the resin in so many different ways, but it forms these little fingerlings inside. And I think it takes time for that to form, and with the amount of time that it takes to cure this resin, it allows it to fall down to the bottom. So I'm very excited. So the next thing, I am going to go ahead and mix the resin. So we'll fast forward that. Here are the inks I'll be using. Two different manufacturers. One is Jacquard, and it has a lot of metallic ones, and also my white, which I am so excited to use. That causes all that magic. And then the other one is called Ranger, and I have a multitude of colors that I chose, but of course I chose my favorite, which are green and blue, and then some yellows and golds. So I am so excited to see how these all work out. Now that I've mixed the resin, I am going to place it all in these plates with clear, but a little bit of the sparkly stuff is totally necessary for me because I am a sparkly girl. So I am going to mix a little bit of this clear resin in with the sparklies first. And from what I understand and have experienced, sparkles and glitter actually fall down to the bottom. So because the bottom of these molds is actually the top of the artwork that we're making, it should work out really well. I don't want to add too much sparkles everywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and mix it, and I'm going to go ahead and add it here and there. It's just as I want to, and that's kind of how art is, right? You just do what you want to do. So just want to mix my sparkles here. And the next step is I labeled these four pieces a little differently because each one I'm going to treat them a little differently. So this one right here, I'm just going to drop in the alcohol ink without movement. This one, I'm going to drop in a similar type of pattern, but I'm going to use a stir stick, which is right here, to move the resin around a little bit after I've placed the alcohol ink on this. This one right here, I am going to use a heat gun as I'm putting in the resin and the alcohol ink. So it's going to be kind of mixed and see what happens with the pattern. And this one I'm actually going to put on a spin wheel after I've done it. These two right here are going to be identical, maybe different colors, but same pattern, and see if there's a difference when I spin it around and this one's stationary. So I am ready to pour the resin. So here it goes. And I've pre-measured these with water, believe it or not, to get the right amounts every time. So I'm just going to slowly add it. And they do have bubbles in it. And these are actually baking dishes. And they're good up to 350 degrees. So I figured I can use a heat gun up to 350 degrees and it won't burn my molds because silicone does not like heat at all. The regular ones, it will ruin your pieces. They'll get stuck to the resin and nothing looks right then. This glitter area, I incorporated a little bit of blue glitter, and some just silver glitter that I love to use. So I'm going to put, let's see, these two are going to be the same. So I'm just going to put a center here of the glitter kind of like spread it. And I'll do the same here. And I'll use the other glitter, just the plain silver. So from what I know, this glitter should sink, but who knows? All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is get the bubbles out of here with my heat gun, which is already pre-programmed to 350 degrees. So as you can see, I'm definitely being safe right now, and my voice isn't really good, so I might have to voice over the next part, but I'm going to explain what I'm doing down here. All right, so now we're ready to go ahead and get the alcohol ink all dripped in here, and I'm really so excited to do this. I don't really have a plan except that I know that the white sinks more than the others, and also the metallics sink more. So I'm going to start with centers, which are yellow and orange, and I'll probably start with the yellows and go from there. These have been shaken already, so I'm just going to do a drop and just watch it go. I have no rhyme or reason for this. I'm just going to have fun with this. Now with the alcohol inks, with the metallic part, I'm going to have to shake it and just do one drop in the center. I'm going to use a different color for each one, and it should be fine. They should sink. We'll see how that works. And the next step is the white, because I have to intermingle the white with everything else. And I don't care if it spatters a little, because I think that's okay. All right, so on with the show. Let's just do some fun stuff. So the next thing, we're gonna put it in a spinner, and you'll see me putting it in a box where the spinner is and let it fly. Some fell out, but it's okay. Figured that would happen. I think it's plenty of mixing. I might just add a little bit of resin just because a lot of it came out. So we're done for now. I just kind of want to explain what happened here. This one I wanted to leave like totally still, and what happened was we moved the paper over, and then it tilted a little bit this direction. You can kind of see. So this is a tilt type of deal. So we'll see what that looks like tomorrow. We did the stir stick with this one, and that was left alone. That really looks great. Well, it's so hard to know because the top and the artsy part is underneath when I open this up. I like to leave a lot of clear around it. It looks like glass, and it's beautiful, and it's got the sparkly, so I try to leave some clear on each one of them. Now this one is with a heat gun, and it looks really feathery. It looks beautiful. It'll be interesting to see how the metallics and everything else hopefully went down. It just kind of looks like the metallic stayed up on top, especially this one. This is kind of weird, and it's silver. I don't know what happened with that. That will be interesting to see what it looks like on the other side. Maybe it didn't even go down. This looks like a mess. This is a spinner, and I spin it too fast, and so that's kind of what I do. I overdo, and then I learn again. So if I were to do this part again, I would just make sure that I spin it just to the edge and have it all run down, because I lost a lot of resin and not sure how this is going to turn out. Then I went ahead and added more to the end. So this is a totally different kind of thing than the rest. Similar colors though, so this will be so much fun to see how these all turned out differently, and similar colorants for tomorrow. So I grabbed my phone so I can get really close and personal with these things, and I wanted to show you these little finger-like projections. You can kind of see at the edges. They are pretty amazing, but they're upside down, so I cannot wait for them to sink down and show really what they did with the combination of resin and alcohol ink. This is the blob that I'm not certain about, which was the silver metallic. And I'm gonna span really quick. This looks like beautiful lacing, just feathery, beautiful design that formed. Probably just a different design than if I hadn't used the stir stick, but it almost looks like a flower, which I was kind of hoping to get. And this next one is the one that I heated up a lot. And this looks amazing. Maybe this is the way to go, because it made the resin more flowy, and maybe that permitted the, the alcohol ink to drip down. I just love the effects. You can really see how it just it's cascading down. This is probably my favorite, upside down. And then this is the blob, and maybe the blob will turn out the best. You never know. It's got feathering. And just because it's got a bunch of odd-looking things on this side does not mean it's going to look anything like that when we are done tomorrow. I have to say, this was so much fun. Just as much fun as I thought it would be. I just love watching the development of these beautiful designs right in front of my eyes, and they just like bloom out and form and fall in, and it's just mesmerizing, actually. So I hope you feel the same way. I would love to hear your comments about what I've done. I do have to say, I use my favorite colors. I have a hard time with red. Can't use pink. I don't know what that is, but I know other colors are out there. But they will combine in here, and we'll see what happened with these colors that I did choose, but anything, the world is open as far as the colorings. I am so excited for tomorrow for the unveiling of these, and I hope you are too. Welcome back. I know you're still watching, but for me, it's the second day and it's been about 18 hours. And I am just going to, it was really hard actually, not to peek, and I didn't. But it is so fun what happened. So let me just raise each one and then I'll dismember it and in front of you. So here is the one with just drops, and basically I didn't really move it. So let's see. Okay, the unveiling. How cool. All right, here's the one with the stir stick. Wow, that is just beautiful. And you can see the projections on the sides are a little bit more on this one. Just where I twirled it, I believe. All right, so let's just do the heat gun one. It really gives it another dimension. That's so cool. And this one looks like it's really, the projections are really cool on the edges. It's hard to see with a white background. All right, and this is for the twirly that I twirled too much. This is the thinner one because I lost a little bit. I twirled it too rapidly, but it looks like it really moved while it was setting up. And it is a little thin, but we'll add a little more resin to the base. All right. That is so cool. And it's probably the most delicate one. And I know I added a lot of colorings, but it really dissipated beautifully around. Okay. I am going to experiment and see what background to show these better. So that's going to be the next thing we do. So what I decided to do is put them on a black background because the projections are beautiful, the edges are clear, and I just wanted to kind of talk about how this all worked. So I'm going to raise each one and kind of talk about what happened. I'll start with the one I didn't really move around. And what happens is the white ink really moves the color down. And I didn't want to have like a pastel look, so that's why I added so much color, not as much white. But as you noted in the video, I was adding, you know, maybe a couple colors of the colorant clear one, and then the white, which brought down the finger projections. So this is the one I didn't move. This is the one I twirled with my spatula. And I love the way this came out with the finger-like projections. You can really see them. It is the coolest thing ever. I just love it. I'm thinking, how am I gonna use this on a flat surface so I can embellish it like this? Because I don't think there's anything in the resin world that causes these kinds of delicate patterns as the alcohol inks. That was just gorgeous. All right, this is the one that I did with the heat gun. And I don't know which is my favorite. And this one looks like it just had a lot more, maybe the white came down with the heat, because there's a lot more of these little areas on the base. What's interesting is that the metal did not fall down like I thought. It didn't sink, which I thought it would, and so it kind of got stuck as the base, which actually looks pretty cool. Gives it that little depth. And also the sparklies stayed on top. I didn't add tons of them, but I don't know if you can see them. This is the one I twirled. You can see the sparklies on here. So cool. And they showed up because I added that first and they went to the surface. And it's not overwhelming. I didn't want to overwhelm the piece, even though I am a sparkly girl. So just a little bit. This one seems to have a ton of projections as well on the edges. Actually, I think I'd like to try to paint acrylic in the back, so there's two sides to this that are different from each other. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Each one is different, so I'm just gonna have my imagination go and be creative, and that's what I'm gonna do next. I am so excited.